Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State, also live on YouTube and Facebook. We're having the crucial conversations that Erie needs, and one of the things that you got to understand is that the entrepreneurial ecosystem, entrepreneurs, small business owners, startups, they are what are going to drive our community forward as far as our workforce, as far as new business, as far as new technologies. And somebody who keeps us in the know on all of that is Brian Slawin. He's from the Ben Franklin Technology Partners. And welcome back, Brian.
Thanks for having me on, Shane. It's always great to see you both.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. And I want to do right away a follow-up on when we talked about that unique partnership that you guys were having with Erie Insurance to make this Erie Fund. Remind me of what it's called again and what it does.
Sure. The Erie Revitalization Investment Fund. It's a partnership between Ben Franklin and Erie Insurance. And you talk about where are the next jobs, where's the next innovation, where's the next for Erie? Well, I'm going to go back 100 years. When two guys who were insurance salespeople developed insurance wasn't a new thing. They figured out a new way of doing it better. And 100 years later, they've got all these people and all these buildings and all this community goodness that they do every single day. That's where this comes from, is their idea and their commitment, Erie Insurance's commitment, to build the next Erie County, the next generation of entrepreneurs, the next generation of great companies that will be based here in our community.
So tell me about the parameters, because I also heard that is it one of the accelerators is actually specializing right now on insurance startups. Is that what Jordan's doing over at Fire?
That is what Jordan is doing at the Erie Chamber Fire Accelerator.
So again, they're trying to build that cluster going.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they just, not even a week ago, had their sort of graduation where all of their portfolio, or the fire portfolio companies, came and presented and had a whole room full of folks at the Marquette Learning and Innovation Center, which is where our event will occur on Wednesday. We'll talk about that in a bit. And, it's just super exciting to see Erie Insurance through their next level innovation group with other folks in town who really put a shoulder to the wheel financially, operationally, mentorship-wise. They've really bought into this idea that innovation, entrepreneurship, it's where we need to be. We need to go forward with that. You had Tom Laird on here with AutoQA yesterday talking about AI and the tools and how that can make things better. I love the way Tom talked about AI. It isn't the scary boogeyman that if you don't get it, you're oh my God.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah.
It's a fun, interesting tool and a new way of thinking about how do you access data and how do you make better decisions.
Well, and it makes people's lives better. If what you do is having to call customer service and you get terrible customer service, he has turned that on its head and said,
right,
let's get to total best practice, and we're able to we're teaching our humans from avatars. I mean, it's really wild stuff, but it works.
Stuff. It's really good
really
stuff.
works. All right, so we've got this thing going, like where you're seeing investment and boosts in the insurance and really making Erie kind of an insurance cluster based on the big guys over at Erie. But there's other things that other tech things that are going on and so on. Talk about why we are getting together in the middle of the holidays for a meetup for this ecosystem.
So what Erie Insurance has done, and they've continuously done this since only the 10 years that I've been here, and I know before that, is really looked at the future and said, what resources, who do we need, what organizations do we all need to bring into a room and get something going? Infinite Erie is a spring out of, or a spin out, if you will, of that simple mindset of what's next, right? We're very fortunate that the Jefferson Society brought together a whole lot of really smart people. Of course, Erie Insurance was in the room. Infinite Erie was what came of that, and now they're doing all the great work that they're, Kim Thomas and Colleen, Donovan? Is it Colleen Donovan? Doherty are doing, right? So it's their ongoing, Erie Insurance's ongoing impact in our community for making sure we're looking at the future. And that's what this fund is. It's the Erie Revitalization Investment Fund. I focus on the word vital inside of revitalization. Erie Insurance has provided us with capital, resources, insights, and the mission of going out and finding great next level, next generation companies that will make, that will be the next thing that Erie County, the whole county, is known for. And it's really interesting. City businesses are very different from county businesses. They're just a different look at the world. If I'm a rural person, I am at some level a lot more gritty because I have to be, because I can't just drive down the street and get to the smart person. Yeah. I've got to make real effort. So as part of what I'm doing, I go to all of these places. I go to Corey, I go to Edinburgh, I go to Northeast, and I see who's there and what's there and what we can do to help them. And that's what the Erie Revitalization Investment Fund is all about.
So tell me about the meetup. What's that all about?
Yeah, so on Wednesday the 10th, so next Wednesday, starting at 1 o'clock at the Marquette Learning and Innovation Center. I think that's close to the right name. At 900 State, so 9th and State, right? It's the super beautiful building with the big blue sign. We're getting together.
900 Peach.
I'm sorry, 900 Peach.
Yep.
Thank you. Yes, 900 Peach, the Marquette Innovation Learning Center. Diverse Erie has approached us and said, hey, what's this thing about? How can you help us expose that to our constituency, right? One of the big challenges that every ecosystem has is that there are people who, as much as you try to tell the world about the cool stuff that's available to them, they're not on the right channel, they're not connected in the right way, they don't have access to the resource, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're trying to battle that. We're trying to be in the space where Diverse Erie can invite its group of folks and say, here, this is another resource to you. So it is about finance. It's about money, right? So we've got some money that we're trying to put onto the street. But more importantly, so we've talked about No Wrong Door a million times. We still haven't figured that out exactly in certain communities in our community. So part of who will be in the room on Wednesday, starting at 1 o'clock at the Marquette Learning Center, are all of the partners in the ecosystem that are dedicated and focused on supporting entrepreneurial growth. So it's not just about the Erie Revitalization Fund. It's really a gathering of the entire community who will be in the room. So we're going to talk about the the Revitalization Investment Fund. We're going to certainly talk about that. Yeah. But in every instance, I'm going to point to see those people over there? They're actually the ones that can help you get to a place where you become investable or you utilize your capital in the right way or whatever it might be.
So you're talking things like the Beehive and Small Business Development Center, the Chamber. And
all those people and more. Some of our funders, right? So the RDAs and
Bridgeway and all that.
Bridgeway Capital has been invited. I mean, just all those folks will be in the room. Bankers, right? We've got some great banking partners and other funders. So we want to make sure as we close the year, as we look at, Christmas and the holidays, we want to make sure that we are putting a message out into the community. We're here, we're available, we're resource rich, and we want to be helpful. Mm-hmm. It is really the No Wrong Door approach. Come to life next Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
So how do you get into that come to this meeting here? Because
you just come in, you just show up. There's no registration.
Okay, so
just show up.
So they're not looking for particular different kinds of businesses for this one here.
If you're an entrepreneur with an idea on a napkin, or you're an entrepreneur that's already got 10 people hired or 50 people hired, this is the meeting for you. There's no registration. There's no, we need your email. There's no, nothing. Literally walk in the room.
Wow.
And then we're going to be there. We're going to hang out for 90 minutes. We're going to do a whole bunch of networking. I'll make a presentation. We'll make sure that you get introduced to the right folks. I'm going to hang out and make sure that people know how to get a hold of me and all of our partners in the ecosystem.
Why don't we do that right now before we forget?
Yeah.
What's a great way to get a hold of you?
Well, you can always email me. That's probably the easiest way. And that's Brian Slawin at, I hate this email address, Brian Slawin at cnp.benfranklin.org, and that's really hard. So go to LinkedIn, look me up on LinkedIn, Brian Slawin, and send me a direct message or send me an email or, however you do that. That's probably the easiest, no harm way to get there. But, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. I just reach out or just go to the benfranklin.org website. There's a tab called Regional Partners. Find Erie and send me an email through our website. So lots of different ways.
Where are we at with our entrepreneurial ecosystem? Okay, I'm going to be a little political. So I feel like one of my
political, just what I like on Thursday afternoon.
Right. One of my contentions has been, I felt like the private sector, the Eries, the Meds and Eds, those types of folks have been really stepping up their game of leadership and moving the ball forward for Erie. I've felt that the nonprofit sector, the community foundations and again, might as well Meds and Eds again, but also really key nonprofits have done that job. And where the missing piece has been in the public sector, where it just didn't feel like there was enough support and coming to the table by those that are either elected officials or part of that that context. With the election of Mrs. Vogel and Mrs. Devlin to the county executive and the mayor, essentially there.
Yep.
Do you feel like that can turn a corner? Are we going to have a boost in leadership from the public sector?
Well, we've already seen the conversation that is what Daria and Christina want to do. So what I think they're counting on is the citizenry getting behind their ideas and helping them move those things forward. I know that Christina has hired probably the smartest guy I know, Chris Groner, to run her whole thing.
She director of administration. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Official title.
Yes.
I just think of him as the guy that runs the whole thing.
Right.
So, that's the first obvious level of commitment by a newly or soon-to-be elected.
It is interesting that a director of administration would come out of economic development.
Right.
For guys like you, that's
great.
A spark.
That's great. Because it feels like, having known and worked with Chris for a decade, he gets it. He totally gets what the challenges are for the private sector person who needs public sector support. The flagship fund that the city runs, right? That was his idea.
Right.
From the beginning, he figured out a way to move money from the loan fund, the profits, then became the grant fund. He structured it. So that's the kind of guy who's now going to run, essentially, under the auspices or under the direction of Christina and county, right? So that's the county side.
Right.
The city side, all I can see right now is the transition team. But look at the transition team. Tina Mangine is on the transition team. Janessa Norton is on the transition team. Corey Cook is on the transition team.
Yeah, they're all fireballs, aren't they?
They're all people who get what entrepreneurism is about. Mm-hmm. So with their voices in those rooms, I'm heartened and hopeful that we will see a more aggressive and more supportive public sector opportunities and a level of effort to help our entrepreneurs, scale and grow and do great things and, make more EDCs happen.
You were talking about the reason having this meetup on the 10th, and again, it's happening at the Marquette 900 Peach location.
Yep.
1 o'clock on the 10th. You were talking about that.
Look at this guy. This is PR 101 right here.
Well, you were saying that sometimes people don't find out about these things until it's too late, or they're not involved in the ecosystem, as it were. Both Christina and Daria were on Tina and Lath's radio show that's on this station on Friday at 9.
Yeah.
They were talking about that there's an issue with communication from the county and the city that people don't necessarily get. You are a communication-minded type of guy. What could government entities do better about communicating to the public about how they function?
So the reason people like Christina and Daria and others and me come on your show is because Talk Erie is the vital or the critical conversations that our community needs to have. More of this is what's needed. Now, I know that you invite both of the executive as well as the mayor. They come on every month, right? It's an ongoing challenge. We're screaming from the rooftops. We're over here to be helpful. But people are living their lives.
Yeah, I was going to say, the average Joe is maybe not tuned into, let's find out about this or that.
They're not. I literally yesterday, talked to a guy. So he attended a webinar that I gave, right? Completely random. And he was like, oh, this guy's, interesting. I want to call him or I want to get a hold of him. So we had a conversation yesterday. He had no idea that Ben Franklin existed. I'm like, that's on me. That's on me. A tech entrepreneur in our community has no idea Ben Franklin existed.
Which is kind of alarming considering how loaded you guys are.
I don't know what that means.
Well, we try. Do you remember when I was teasing you last year when you got the big grant?
We try to be out there everywhere we can.
Right.
We have to respect that people are living their lives. They're doing their thing. If they're on Facebook or they happen to run across a random webinar that I'm providing, but I don't know the answer to that. I'm not smart enough to answer that. You know who is smart enough to answer that, or at least consider it, is a guy named Rob Lee, who's on Daria's transition team. Works at Erie Insurance. Yeah. He's a PR communications guy. He's a stud. I mean, he was the one that shaped the narrative around the Erie Revitalization Investment Fund.
Fantastic.
He's like 10 stars on this guy.
All right.
Don't have a great answer other than we're just going to keep yelling and screaming and being available.
Before I let you go, and again, the event is
Wednesday
the 10th.
The 10th, 1 p.m. at the Marquette Innovation Learning Center at 900 Peach Street. It's a big, beautiful building with the blue sign.
I'm asking everybody that's sitting in your chair there about a favorite Christmas memory, especially when you were preteen, still in that age of wonder. You're sitting there. You're in Missouri, right?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
We don't refer to it as Missouri. We refer to it as St. Louis. My favorite memory as a kid is what you're asking.
Yeah.
So,
for Christmas.
Yeah. It's always food. There's always a food thing going on with my family. There's always a food thing. So my most recurring memory is when my grandma allowed me to help her cook. And I, did it every Thanksgiving and Christmas and all the holidays. But that's probably the one, obviously.
Like, what was the dish that you liked to do?
Well, this will not make any sense to anybody. So it's called Kugel. It's a noodle dish in a big 9x13 pan with all the butter and cheese and and noodles and the whole thing. And you get it just right, and you stick it in the oven, and then it gets crusty on like the hard, crusty brown noodle.
That sounds amazing.
My grandma was the best. And I knew it was a big deal when she asked me to finally help. Because, I'm like, 5 or 6.
Right, yeah.
So she's not going to let me touch anything hot, but she at least let me sprinkle the cheese or mix up this. And that's an ongoing from when I was just a little guy. That was a big deal for me in my life. So
and having
love you,
that
Grandma.
connection with Grandma. Wow.
She's so awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brian Slawin, the Ben Franklin Technology Partners. Did you
made me tear up a little bit.
Did you watch any of the American Revolution? Ben Franklin was a big deal on that Ken Burns deal.
It's kind of a job requirement.
You have to
other jobs as assigned. That was one of them.
He could probably try out for Ben Franklin in 1776 this spring. Yeah. I think he could do
Think
it.
I have enough hair to do it?
Well, they'll put the hair on you. Don't worry about it. That's why they got Ryan there. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. It is 4 minutes in front of 4 o'clock. Stay with us.